Morning.
Good, how are y'all?
Hi, Susan.
Hello.
It's wide enough, I don't hit it.
Randy, we're gonna meet next Monday on the staff too. On the 9th.
All right, 10 o'clock. Monday, 10.
Okay.
You gonna be done?
That's the league action. That's the United States. Just got these. We're supposed to have a meeting on, when was that? 15th, this week, they call it.
Yeah, that was Friday. Friday now, huh? That one was. No, no way.
I do it to make sure.
It was on Thursday, we were off. Friday.
I've been busy.
You learning. You didn't.
Oh, I'd like to call this meeting Rusk County Commissioners Court to order. It is April the 12th. It's 10 a.m. Like to ask City Manager Chambers in prayer. Please remain standing.
Thank you, Judge. Y'all pray with me. Father God, thank you for this new week and Monday, Lord. Thank you for the opportunity to do what we do here with the county and with the city and the service aspect. Pray we always look to you for guidance in all that we do, Lord. I just pray that you'll have your hand over this Commissioner's Court and decisions they make and the importance of them on today's generation and generations to come, Lord. Thank you for what you give to us, your son Jesus on the cross. Here's before you, and just pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
First item on the agenda is to discuss possibly approve budget amendments and or transfers. Motion from Mr. Whitworth to pass on that. Second, Mr. Gibson. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Number two, discuss possibly accept bid proposals for the purchase of a reclaimer mixer.
This is our Moore Service Center, and it's for $47,800. RB Everett and Co. They submitted two. So. Yeah, R&B Everett and Co. 189,000. BOMAG 2014 and 2014 BOMAG 169,500.
Oh, 47.
Yeah, I'm not. We'll have to see what if it's for the exact same. Like, I don't know if there was a misunderstanding.
One of them's an attachment, one of them's actual machine.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's on my phone. I'm not sure the terminology of equipment. And from George P. Bang, and we'll get the actual what it is, but it's a 62,750. See what. That's all.
You want to take those and evaluate them?
I'd like to, and
All right, we'll have it on the agenda next Monday, next Monday.
Monday's
The 19th.
okay.
All right. Second. Motion, Mr. Goff, to pass on that till next Monday. Second, to Mr. Gibson. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Number three, discuss possibly approve cooperation contract with Tatum ISD and Precinct 2 to cut trees on bus route with cost $100 to be invoiced to Tatum ISD.
I was asked to go look at this. It's a drive that goes on the private property, and I've talked to the school about it, and said they're gonna pay the $100 for it. I also have on file the a signed letter from the landowner giving us permission to go on this private property. So in saying that, I move that we approve this cooperation contract.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Kirkendall, second from Mr. Goff. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Number four, discuss possibly to request bids for 107 County Road in Tatum for seal coating. Bid packet will be prepared by Stokes and Associates.
As far as the date on that, back
The
up.
10th would be on the regular meeting in May would be the first. We
Okay.
could do that,
Okay.
or you can do it after, but if the 10th is works for you.
Yeah, the
it
10th
works
would be
for us.
fine. Thank you.
Okay.
I move that we approve this request.
Motion from Mr. Kirkendall, second from Mr. Gibson. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Number 5, discuss possibly approve a donation of $1,250 from Peter Chevrolet /KETK. Sheriff, you want to tell us about that?
The KTK does a program every Wednesday. They call it Give. They give back and they'll go to a first responder organization, whether it be a fire department, EMS or police department, or sheriff's office, and give them a meal for gratitude for what we do or what the fire department does or whoever got it that week. And at the end of that quarter, Peter Chevrolet donates $1,200 to, or whatever the check's for. I thought it was 1,000. And they draw, everybody that already won it is eligible for this draw. And we drew it this time. So they came to the office and told us we had won the check. So I would ask that y'all would approve the check, and we will put it into our office supplies, I believe, and that will go a long way toward helping us on some things that we need to get done.
Motion for approval. Second.
Motion from Mr. Gibson, second from Mr. Whitworth. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Number 6, discuss and possibly take action on authorization to request for proposals, RFPs for administrative services and requests for qualifications for professional services for the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. If you remember last week, we had some people from GrantWorks come in, and we'll have to go out for a request before we can approve anybody to help us with applying for the things that would be eligible for. Those grants, make sure we do what's legal and right. Motion for approval.
Second.
Motion for Mr. Galt, second for Mr. Kirkendall. All those in favor? All those opposed, motion passes. Number 7, discuss possibly approve the Rusk County Library System annual report to the Texas State Library and Archives Commission.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So this is our yearly report that we do to the state library. We submit so that we can apply for accreditation with the state. Just so everybody knows, if we are approved for accreditation, then it allows us to have access to extra benefits, tech share databases, being able to allow our patrons to go to other tech share member libraries to check out items if they're out of town for several days, weeks, months. It allows us to, our patrons, to participate in the interlibrary loan program. And if we don't have a book and we've got someone who needs it, we can request that book from pretty much all over the world and it'll get shipped to us so that we can have access to it for our patrons. It allows us to apply for E-rate and several other Texas grants. So we shoot to be an accredited library with the state every year. And we've met all stipulations for it again this year.
Motion for approval. Second. Motion for Mr. Whitworth, second Mr. Gibson. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Discuss possibly approve the Rusk County Library System proposed to fill a part-time position at Tatum Public Library.
Our Tatum Public Library usually runs with our branch manager who is full-time. She works 40 hours a week, and then we have normally we have three part-time positions who share 72 hours a week. We have been without one of those part-time since the beginning of the year. We haven't had a need to have it filled. They've been working, bare minimum, but with summer programming coming up, she is in a need this summer with us opening and reopening our in-person programming to have the third person to have the extra hours. And so that's why I'm here today. Is we're gearing up for summer. We're ready to start providing those services again for all of our patrons who have been asking for them And I want to be sure that when the town library can adequately provide those services to the community.
You have an estimate of what your summer workload is as far as attendees?
Unfortunately, no. Not for this summer, because, last summer we offered mostly virtual programs. There were one or two locations who might have had one or two very limited in-person programs. I will, in Overton, have had a crazy amount of people asking, are we doing our summer reading program? Are we going to offer in-person programming? When are we going to start that? Can we start it before summer? So everybody is super ready. So honestly, I don't know to expect just some or to expect what we would consider normal, which depending on the program could be anywhere from 50 to 100 attendees, even at our smaller branch locations, or to expect something far from that, because people are so ready to have these services again and to be out and do things like normal. So I'm not really sure. The other thing I am dealing with at Tatum is one of the ladies that has worked there for several years part-time. Usually she works a reduced number of hours during the summer. And so I'm anticipating for April's two part-time people right now to not be able to work a full 29 hours, even less than what they're working right now. So again, why
How many do we have at the other branch location?
it depends on the location. This was a setup that April had specifically asked for, I think 2 years ago when she first started. She had a lot of projects that she needed extra people for. And so normally for that location, there is a branch manager and assistant manager. And then I think she had 1 to 2 part-time people, but she didn't need the extra full-time. She just needed more people. And so we kind of rearranged over there. In Overton, because I am in and out so much, I have, there's counting myself, there's 3 full-time people and then 1 part-time. In Mount Enterprise, they have the same setup because we have Nell as our assistant branch manager. We anticipate that she will have to go in and out, because usually if there is a need for somebody to fill in, she and I are the ones that are to go to a different location. And so she and I tend to be kind of out a lot. So they have the same setup as well, 3 full-time people and then 1 part-time. And at Henderson, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 part-time people at Henderson. We have 2 that are mainly responsible for covering the front desk when they're open. We have 1 that sort of floats around. She's mostly in the back with handles all of our genealogy requests, but she kind of floats around when they need help at the desk. And then we have 1 in children's that assists as well.
How many full-time?
At Henderson, we've got a branch manager. We have our cataloger, who she is housed at Henderson, but she catalogs for the entire Rusk County system. And we have sort of our accounts payable. She handles all of our budgeting type things. She does a lot more than that, but that's her main job. And then downstairs we have a full-time children's and sort of reference interlibrary loan. So 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 full-time.
Yes, sir.
You did say at Tatum with this, we started when they will still all 3 share the same amount of hours.
It's 72 hours a week for that branch for part-time, and then she usually works it out. So say right now, the 2 that are there are working a full 29, but once the 3rd person is added in, because one other person will need to work less hours, they tend to kind of, some people will get a little bit of an increase, and then it just sort of fluctuates, but it's roughly 72 hours a week. Lately, they haven't been hitting that. Neither of the 2 ladies that are there have been working a full 29 hours a week.
So currently you have how many full-time at Tatum?
1.
1, and then 2 part-time.
Yes, 2 part-time. And normally that location has 1 full-time and 3 part-time. But I haven't come to request it. We haven't been asking programs. We haven't had as much people coming in. And so we've been able to sort of skate by with what we're doing over there. There's been a time or two where we've had an issue. Somebody, I've had both my branch manager and one of the part-time people are sick, and the second part-time person was only scheduled to work half a day and could not cover the full day. So then they've had to call, and either myself or Nell or someone else within the county system has had to go to Tatum to keep the branch open and not close it because we didn't have enough people to work.
It's my understanding you're getting geared up like for the summer reading program is what you're looking at?
Yes, sir. And that's why I'm coming now to ask so that if it were approved, we would have time to find somebody that could be trained. And then she would have plenty of coverage for all of her summer programming that she's planning to do.
And then I guess obviously after the summertime, when school starts back again, the number of customers kind of go back down again somewhat.
Somewhat, people come in after school. I know she's got lots of families that come in, and there is a large homeschool group, several groups, homeschool population, I guess, in Tatum. And so she sees them quite a bit throughout the day. So it does decrease a little bit, but you know, as everything starts to gear back up and amp back up with everything, we're sort of anticipating it not to drop back down to what we're seeing right now, but less than summer, but still more than what we've seen in the last year.
What you're asking for is, you're not going to exceed the 72 hours
No.
that's been budgeted for
No.
in 21.
No, we have it budgeted for them to have 72. We just haven't filled it because there hasn't been programming, there hasn't been a need. And I know we're trying to save money. So, you know, I didn't come to ask because I don't want to waste money. But at this point, I want to see them be able to offer the programming that the community would like. And in order for us to do that, we really do need a third person to be able to come in and work, especially since one of my other part-time people at that location will be working a reduced hours. She's already at bare minimum, and so this summer it'll be even worse if we don't. And we're all anticipating there to be an increase in patrons and, you know, especially the programs and things like that. So it'll be harder for us to be able to go pull somebody from one location and send them over because, you know, typically during the summer where we're at, we use everybody.
What are you say this one person's not working or barely making minimum. What's the minimum on part-time?
I don't think we have one, honestly. We don't. We can work them anywhere from 2 hours a week to 29 hours a week. We've never really, most of the time when we hire somebody for part-time, they need that position. And so they work as many hours as we let them, and they can with whatever else they've got going on. The lady who's gonna have to work her reduced hours, it's because it's summer, her kids are out of school, and she doesn't have childcare. So she has to be home to take care of her kids because they're not in school. So she tends to shift her hours a little bit during the summer so that she can do that.
I'm looking, we feel is a part-time position.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Kirkendall, a second from Mr. Gall. Any other discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed, motion passes. C, discuss and possibly approve discarded items from the Rusk County Library System collection to be deemed surplus.
Again,
We'll look
this
at
is the same thing I've brought to you guys before, last couple of months. Well, you'll probably see me one more time for this particular item, and then we'll probably be done with discarding for the year. See me all over again with a big list in January.
We'll make a motion for approval.
Second. Motion from Mr. Gibson, second from Mr. Whitworth. All those in favor? All those opposed. Number 10, discuss and possibly approve to accept donated books, DVDs, and audio books to be added to the Rusk County Library System.
And these are our list of items that were donated from the community between January and March of this year. And again, we always have someone at each branch who goes through and looks to be sure that it's something that you might have a question, just add them because they showed up. So we do have somebody who's checking over them.
You talking about it being appropriate?
Yes.
What have you?
Motion for approval.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Gibson, second from Mr. Kirkendall. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you all very much.
I guess we got 11. Number 12, discuss and possibly approve Commissioner Court minutes for the months of December, January, and February. Special meetings December 3rd and 23rd, January 20th, February 1st, February 25th. Regular meetings December 14th, January 11th, February 8th. Executive session on January 26th.
I've read those minutes. I'll approve.
Second. Motion from Mr. Gibson. Second from Mr. Whitworth. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Number 13, discuss and possibly approve the following historic or archaeology property tax exemptions. I think you're all aware that these homes or whatever that have a historical designation are exempt from property tax. That's your list of them right there.
No changes from last year.
I don't think so.
Motion approved.
Motion from Mr. Whitworth, second from Mr. Gibson. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. Discuss possibly approve the annual auditor's report for 2020. Any explanation you want to give, Ms. Rebecca?
This, just want to say this is a unaudited, kind of, this is the balance sheet on the top. It's kind of what you see in the normal monthly, but it's the actual from December now that I've gone back and closed the books from December, but it is unaudited. And then after here, y'all are very familiar with the statement of expenses and the revenues at the end of each fund. And it just kind of gives you an idea of what was spent in each budget line item throughout the year, and then how much remaining budget was left over. So it just gives you a really good overview of each account, especially as we begin the next budget cycle. So if there's any questions, let me know afterwards as well. This is the first time y'all seen this report. One thing I would mention is on the statement of revenues, I put it behind each fund, and it does show like over budget, but that's on the revenue side, and there's no problem with going over budget coming in.
Right.
So I just want y'all to be aware that when you see these asterisks on the side, that means over budget, but that is for revenues, and there was no line items in the expenses that were over budget after the final budget amendments were taken care of.
Rebecca,
Yes, sir.
on the road and bridge,
Yes, sir.
line I want to talk about delinquent taxes.
Just give me an account number, please.
Account number
Yeah. It's 012 something.
012-310-120.
$120.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And
What remainder you represent there?
this is, and remember, this is a, the 310, 120, that is actually, that's a revenue account. So that means that we brought in 135,440 of delinquent taxes last year. And so you're talking about the remaining, that means we went over, we had only, the budget, it's very hard to predict budget for revenues. So that's about how that was come up with, but I wouldn't, really just that 135 is what we brought in, but I wouldn't look into too much on the budget side of that because it's very difficult to be accurate budget wise.
So that's total property taxes for the,
That's just on the
just on
delinquent,
the road and bridge.
yeah, just the delinquent taxes.
Right.
It's not
Just delinquent taxes, the
the,
percent for the road and bridge.
yeah, just on the delinquent taxes, those, the maintenance of public road, 110 and 115, that's that year's taxes. The delinquent was previous year's taxes that weren't brought in during the year. And so that's late taxes.
Yeah.
And then we got right below that interest and penalty.
Yeah.
Which you can see is almost the same. That's because someone paid the taxes and had to pay a large interest and penalty because they brought it in late.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Gibson, second from Mr. Whitworth. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Discuss possibly approve the following reports for March 2021. Auditor treasurers, Rusk County Justice Peace 2, 3, 4, and 5. Constable 1, 3, 4, and 5. Expo report, the event summary. Rusk County Expo maintenance, Rusk County Indigent Health, airport manager, license and weight.
I move we approve items A through J.
Second.
Motion Mr. Kirkendall, second Mr. Goff. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Number 16, discuss possibly approve the following pipeline utility request. East Texas Telephone proposes to place a fiber optic cable, or just fiber cable, along within the right of way of County Road 314 Precinct 3. East Texas Telephone proposes to place a copper cable along within the right of way of County Road 3155 in Precinct 3.
Make a motion to approve for A and B.
Second.
Motion from Mr. Gibson, second from Mr. Whitworth. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Number 17, public comment, no action to be taken. Anybody got any public comment?
Had a big turnout at the expo this weekend.
A huge turnout at the expo. They raised roughly $152,000 for Oldville families just Saturday night. There was roughly 1,800 people throughout the facility. They had rented the whole facility from one end to the other, and we were pulling tables and chairs out of there. It was a great turnout. They did good. They did a really good job cleaning up too, to have that many people.
Yeah.
We had our first annual clay shootout at Prairie Creek for the East Texas 100 Club.
Okay.
We ended up with like 10 teams, 3 teams. It was a big success. It was our first annual, so we're looking forward to doing it again next year. So
Okay.
hopefully we can see some of y'all out participating in the shooting.
Judge Court, I was going to let you know, May 6th is the National Day of Prayer. We're going to do the first, hopefully annual, mayor's prayer breakfast on that day out at the Civic Center. We'll start at 6:30, be done by 7:30 that morning. So hopefully it's going to be, it'll be led by our ministerial alliance group, some of our pastors around town and Henderson County. And it'll just be, breakfast will be provided, come at 6:30, be done by 7:30, off to work or school or whatever. It'll be the first one of those that we've done. I know traditionally here on that day, out here in front of the courthouse around 10 or so, we've had some gatherings as well, so it won't interfere with that. But definitely don't want to step on any toes of what the county's been doing there, but we invite Commissioners Court to come and join. It's completely open for all public, free charge, just something brand new we want to be able to start. So May 6th. All right. At the Civic Center.
We're going to have ours at 11:30 because we've also got arraignment docket that day. It starts at 8:30 and we should be through from past history by 11. So we're going to try 11:30. Our National Day of Prayer on the courthouse steps. Anybody else? Steve Taylor, you got anything?
So Charles took mine.
Anybody else? What's the news in Cherokee County there?
It's good. It's all good.
I will say that we've got the majority of our brush picked up throughout the storm. Again, I want to thank all the commissioners for helping me out on that. It's just about cleaned up around the Mount Enterprise area, and I appreciate it.
Just gonna give y'all some documentation. I guess I can do it now instead of waiting till afterwards. It's our first quarter statistical report from our patrol division. Look at it at your leisure. Any questions or observations, you can email me, and be happy to discuss it with you.
You've been busy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 18 is approved payment bills.
I didn't have any questions on that.
Economic coordinating solutions. Page 5.
Oh, isn't that the new? The stop signs? Let me look up the account. Yeah, the sanitation. Sanitation contract work, isn't that for the? Didn't it start working with a new company for sanitation?
That's what I'm thinking, but I'm not sure.
Porta potties?
That's not,
That's all done.
no, that's. Actually. it just starts.
Okay, so putting station.
That's not-
Okay, that's all done. So it does have to do with
Transfers from this
transfer,
to
yeah, let's do that. What actually it is. I'm not 100%. I'm the last one.
Well, yeah, because on the dumps, on it always says it's under the public.
Right, no, I understand.
I haven't seen this
Yeah.
before.
And Jay, y'all are gonna have y'all's dumpsters out on Highland Drive, is that correct?
That's correct. I thought the warehouse there.
More clarification on, they're gonna have to fulfill our orders.
And or anything else?
There was an email we got last week, and I think they're keeping their dump open till 4 that day, and they're gonna have trucks running. I think 2 trucks committed to Rusk County. Keep them, is what email I saw.
Yeah, I read it, that's not. But I'll be covered it. Fast enough. My understanding, I think 2 trucks can make it 9. That's how about the little can.
That is a new vendor for the towers. For the dump site.
That's tires.
And so it's not all the time, and they're a new company, so that's, or not a new company, but we're using, so.
Yeah.
That'll be, something- it'll be recurring again,
Yeah, okay, thank you.
the first time.
Has there been such a problem this year? There hadn't been. They just not committed to any dumpsters to it.
I don't know. I don't think that overloaded.
They didn't see now, yeah.
When's the free dump day?
17.
Saturday.
And this coming Saturday.
And I'll be. Public comment.
What's the name of the bunch that still has our landfill out here?
Waste Connection on this land.
Where are they hauling from to that in there now?
I'm not sure which spots around. They still have, I mean, they're hauling something, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I not near as much going in there as there used to be.
Now,
Is Republic Services doing the cleanup dumpsters for the county as well? They take them to the Kilgore landfill, I'm assuming?
I assume so.
You worried about not having enough containers?
We tried to get some extra ones.
We requested it.
Which last year we had ours and the city didn't have theirs. And they had threw a bunch that way,
Right.
but they still, people in the county, they like their free dump day too.
I'll do it. I'll make the contact and see. It sounds like they probably have a limited number of containers.
How many y'all gonna have out here?
I'm not sure. I'll need to find out. I'll
Well,
find
there'll be
that
a
out.
bunch, ain't it?
Do some work. I'm sorry.
Are they gonna show anything? Like a,
Put the shoulder bill or something for the city, deal, proof of.
I don't ship a water bill out there, it doesn't work anymore.
That does, that just charges it.
They charge a fire out there.
Yeah. We do bulk pickup in the city now on Fridays, curb at curb, in front of everybody's residence. They call ahead for public come get it. They do that every Friday, so that's the trade-off there.
Yeah.
I'll find out how many containers we're gonna have and see what else Republic has available for you guys. I'll try to make that contact and see if they're, I think they were,
Gene Kennon's still over there?
yes, sir. I think they were bringing some more in from, some other counties or different places that they have, to be able to fill the need. And it seems like there were gonna be more than just a couple per precinct from what I was hearing last I heard for y'all, but I'll double check on that and find out. The information I receive, I'll shoot to you, Judge. And
I appreciate it.
yep.
I had 2 dumpsters empty last Saturday. Or not this Saturday, Saturday before. They filled those up and I had 2 dumpsters that I just put on the ground and filled those up every day.
Oh, yeah. Y'all, but we're talking about large roll-off, open
Yeah.
roll-offs, right? Not just real big dumpster. Okay.
Most of us wound up having to shut ours down last year because
Fill up and
we
do this.
had nowhere to go with it.
Good news is people are trying to throw away their stuff, clean it up back there.
Keeps it off the side, keeps it off the side of the road.
That's true.
What's the 4 kids and pizza? Was that for the
For the
shot clinic?
shot, yes.
Where is that?
It is, the Jacksonville Drive, yes.
On Jacksonville.
By Montelongo's.
Okay.
Shop in that little shopping center.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sheriff, have we found the owner for the cattle?
Yes, sir.
We did find out.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Have a motion, Mr. Gibson, to pay the bill, second, Mr. Kirkendall. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion passes. I move we adjourn. Second, Mr. Goff. All those.